Bill Cosby and black Muslims. Let me preface this by saying that I usually feel that black folks arguing about religion, like anyone else, but particularly us, is time grievously wasted. The fact that he made some positive comments about black Muslim standards of behavior, self-discipline, and adherence to the law has touched off a conservative firestorm. While I can understand conservative concerns, and in fact I'm a supporter of one of Mr. Cosby's most vocal recent critics, Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, I still find it important that we should analyze some distinctions. The black Muslim movement, as promoted by the late Honorable Elijah Muhammad and most popularly associated with Louis Farrakhan, is not the same, despite Farrakhan's jumping in bed with almost every African and Arab dictator he could find. The Nation of Islam brand of Islam is not the same as the Arab nationalist brand, which is prompting jihadis of all colors to wage war against their governments and the West. In the black community particularly, it's important that we understand this distinction. When you say black Muslim, most people think that you're talking about the Nation of Islam. And given its theology and its particular black nationalist focus, the Nation of Islam cannot automatically be associated with the Arab jihadi school of thought. As I've told people, and even joked with brothers I know in the nation, if you're praying 5 times a day, either taking care of your family or looking for a wife, and donating all of your disposable income or more to your local mosque, study group, regional headquarters, then of course your national office in Chicago, where Minister Farrakhan is headquartered, in addition to any sudden demands for money which could come up on an ad hoc basis, there's very little time left over under such stricture to engage in recreational, let alone criminal or terrorist activities. And despite the black community being based upon the Judeo-Christian ethic, it is worth noting, and objective conservatives have done so, that the black Muslim program of rehabilitation, self-discipline, entrepreneurship, and other positive virtues is almost unequaled in black America. Now, when Bill Cosby was stating that many young black men who find themselves in trouble are Christians, he wasn't attacking Christianity per se. To the best of my knowledge, he is a Christian. But he is saying that the numeric reality, just like most of the young men engaged in violent crime in America happen to be black, many of this same demographic happen to also identify themselves as Christians. Now, theologians and moralists can debate whether or not these young men are living up to the ideals of Christianity, and that's valid. But on its face, comparing the Muslim, and when I say Muslim, black Muslim program to the anarchy we see in the streets of black America, there at least grudgingly, I think for some of Cosby's critics, has to be a realization that the black Muslim program works, at least in the civic capacity. I'm not a fan of Louis Farrakhan, so I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam, but I have studied and I have worked with people in this organization for most of my activist life. When one is an anti-crime activist in the black community, it is inevitable that one will encounter black Muslims. They have made their presence preeminent in the most dangerous, the most desperate, and the most God-forsaken sectors of urban America. You know, their bow tie clad brand is well known, is ubiquitous on inner city and other street corners, passing out papers, and through their Peacekeepers initiative, which is not formally allied with the Nation of Islam, but was founded by a member of the Nation of Islam, They're getting into mediating the violent disputes that often end up in our headlines. I'm not a fan of Farrakhan's. I don't think that the Black Muslim way, nor any other one particular religious tradition, needs to be stressed to our people as the only way. We're a pluralist people, but I think we can agree that certain civic virtues, wherever they come from secular or spiritual origins, are far more beneficial to our community than what I call the black zombie culture that seems to mass produce with increasing depravity, increasingly violent, vulgar, vile people who have made life unlivable in the inner city. I know that conservatives are concerned that Bill Cosby's comments were somehow a support for the type of murderous, mad dog, jihadi politics played by Arab nationalists and their adherents of all colors. I don't think that's the case. As Bill has attacked black dysfunction mercilessly from the left, I think that we should not part company with him because of his view on black Muslims. I'm not interested in being a jihadi. Never have been, never will be. Conversely, I'm not interested in fighting a crusade. For American blacks, we need to focus firmly upon the civic common ground that enhances the best of our life chances, regardless of what our faiths happen to be or aren't, in the case of those who may be agnostics and atheists. Yes, we're a community rooted in the Judeo-Christian ethic, but we're also a community grounded in the modern American experience. And through modern American values, and definitely by an adherence to jurisprudence, and wisely navigating ourselves through situations that could easily throw one into the criminal justice system, I think that would be more beneficial to our young men who are at risk because of a zombie culture and profoundly stupid personal choices, than arguing about whether or not Bill Cosby should be ostracized because he says something nice about black Muslims. Our murder rate, our illiteracy rate, our incivility rate all scream for solutions that can be applied to the broadest number of our people. And our people, I know some get offended by that, but when I say our people, that doesn't separate us from the black, or I should say from the American population. But it does say that we are a distinct group within the American population facing a unique set of circumstances which demands laser focus upon those circumstances and the group so afflicted. Until our people can embrace a secular civic culture that enhances our life chances, arguing about religion, spirituality, dogma, and all other, I feel, personal issues, is equivalent to whistling Dixie, which is kind of an unusual position for black folks to find themselves in. Bill Cosby hasn't gone jihadi. I don't think we're going to see him making a speech in the near future advocating strapping bombs on oneself and detonating in the middle of crowded places. I do think Bill was trying to call attention to a group of black folks who, however you may feel about their theology, their ideology, and their violently, or I should say virulently, anti-Semitic leader, there are some positives to this group, and this group's positives need to be analyzed like every other life chance enhancing strategy that American blacks have to at least consider as the zombies drag us deeper and deeper into an urban apocalypse from which there seems to be no escape. I like Bill Cosby. I like what he's been saying about black dysfunction. And I, as a conservative, am not willing to just throw him under the bus because of some favorable comments toward black Muslims. If you live in the black community or have any type of access, like the late great Jack Kemp did, one has to conclude that the black Muslim program is effective for not only rehabilitating the most incorrigible members of our community, but also for those who have never succumbed to crime. It helps drive them to even higher heights of personal and professional excellence. That doesn't mean Christianity doesn't do the same. It doesn't mean Judaism doesn't do the same. It doesn't mean that African traditionalism can't do the same. It's simply an admission that this one checkered history within the overall American black experience has produced some meritorious models that are worthy of at least our attention. Bill Cosby and black Muslims. I don't think we need to trip about this, because as we're tripping about what Bill Cosby said, chocolate Klansmen and zombies continue to drag our community deeper and deeper into the abyss.